Okay, so we're recording now. So, okay, so I'm going to go over these questions. Here we go. I'll post solutions as well, so I will do that. Let me just zoom in a bit. Here we go. So again, we're going to add and subtract these polynomials, okay? What we're going to also do is we're going to, again, you want to write the answer in standard form. So for the first one, it's not as bad because we're adding, okay? So you get to choose which polynomial is the one on top. I kind of did this randomly. I chose the second one to be the one on top. It really doesn't matter, especially here since both of them have the same number of terms. So what do we do? Okay, so we have this polynomial is the one on top. Again, each term goes into its own column, as we've seen before, okay? As we've seen before. Now for the other polynomial, right, we want to put that below it. And again, only like terms can go in the same column. Only like terms can go in the same column. So 5x to the fifth right away, we have kind of a trouble, I guess, so to say, because 5x to the fifth can't go in either of these columns, right? 5x to the fifth with any of these terms forms a pair of unlike terms. So we make another column. Okay, and again, I put it on the end, mostly because putting it in between, I mean, you could do that. I just figured since we'll be writing this by hand, if you're writing this by hand, it's easier to put it at the end. So that's going to get its own column. 2x cubed, right? Well, that's going to go in the x cubed column because they're like terms. So there we go. X goes into the x column, as you can see. 1, well, there is no column just for constants, right? 1 is an unlike term with any of the terms here. So 1 has to go into its own column. And I know I put the zeros here, but again, the next step is to put zeros in the empty spots. I mean, if you didn't put a 0 there, that's fine. You just have to remember that nothing goes there. Then, since we're adding, we simply add. So we have x to the 6th plus 0 is x to the 6th. X to the 4th plus 0, x to the 4th is x to the 4th. And you keep on adding. X cubed plus 2x cubed is 3x cubed. X and x is 2x. Okay. 0x to the 5th and 5x to the 5th, right? That's 5x to the 5th, and so on. Good. So that's what we do. So the answer, again, these are the terms of the answer. So we could write it out. But again, you want the answer to be in standard form. So there's no zeros here, but the 5x to the 5th, that's not going to go here. Because again, you want the exponents of x decreasing as you go from left to right. You want the exponents of x decreasing as you read from left to right. So this has to go here. And that's what we do. That's our first example. Okay, that's good. Okay, let me just check something. No. Show us recording. All right, so for the second one now, here, we're subtracting, okay? So of course, this one has to be the one on top because we're subtracting. So we have 2x cubed, that goes in a column, minus 9x squared is also in a column. 4 is also in a column. Now what about the other polynomial here? Well, 4x to the 4th can't go in either of these columns, right? Because they're all unlike terms with 4x to the 4, so that gets its own column. 3x cubed goes in here, as you can see. 3x squared goes in here. you can see. 9 goes in here, as you can see. All right, we have a blank entry here, so we can put 0 there as a placeholder. I wrote 0x to the 4. You could just write 0 if you want, that's fine. I mean, 0 alone might be more mathematically precise. Actually, I think it is, but if you wrote 0x to the 4th, that's fine. Are we there? Are we done yet? Well, not quite, because again, we have to now distribute the negative with the second row. How do we do that? Well, here we go. The subtraction changes to addition, and we negate each term in the second row, right? Well, there we go. So sorry about that. So each of these terms, so this becomes addition, these terms get a negative in front. That's what happens here. Now we're ready to combine. So for the first two we combine, we get negative x cubed. Here, negative 9x squared minus 3x squared. We get negative 12x squared. 4 minus 9 is minus 5. 4 plus negative 9, excuse me. And then we have 0 plus minus 4x to the 4, which is minus 4x to the 4. So, of course, we write our polynomial, but again, we're not quite done yet, right? Because we want it in standard form. So how do we do that? Well, this term with the 4, that's going to have to go in front. This is the biggest power exponent of x, right? You want the exponents decreasing from left to right. The exponents of x, that is. Well, of the variable. So those are the first two problems. Are there questions yet? I mean, excuse me, are there any questions at all? Okay. Yeah, I can't see the chat, so okay, we're good. All right. So for the third one, it's another addition. So again, I like to put the polynomial with more terms on top. I mean, you really don't have to do that, but personally, I think it's a little bit easier. That's just me, though. So each term, again, gets its own column, as you can see. Okay, so that's the first polynomial. For this one, right, we have 7x squared. Where does that go? That's going to go in this column, as you can see below. 5x can't go in any of these columns, as you can see, right? Because 5x and any of these are unlike terms, so 5x gets its own column. Again, you only want like terms in the same column, in the same columns. And 5x is an unlike term with any of these. Same thing with the 5, right? 5 and any of these form unlike terms, so 5 gets its own column. And that's actually it for putting terms in columns. Although I guess now we have all these blank spaces here, so we put 0 in as placeholders. As you can see. So now, since we're adding, we just simply add. We get these here, 4x to the 5th plus 0, just 4x to the 5th, 3x to the 4th plus 3, plus 0, excuse me, x to the 4th is 3x to the 4, 2x cubed plus 0 is 2x cubed, x squared plus 7x squared is 8x squared, and so on. And we can, again, these form the terms of our polynomial, add them up. And we write the polynomial. And it's in standard form already, right? The exponents of x, they're decreasing from left to right. So, and there's no zeros here, so we're good. Okay. So for the last one, we're subtracting, as you can see. So this is the one on top, since we're subtracting. So x to the 5th gets its own column, 6x cubed minus 3x squared. X goes in here, minus 5 goes here. So for the next polynomial, 2x to the 5th, where's that going to go? That's going to go in front, over here, as you can see. Because x to the 5th and 2x to the 5th are like terms. Let me just take care of the recording.